So back with y'all here. What are some things to think about as we go through TIPP skills and how we're going to use them in our lives and how effective any relative skill might be for us and how to increase our effectiveness or mastery of these skills? I think the first thing to think about is when might each skill be useful. So out and about in the world, as I call them, each of us free range humans, it might be, again, easier to go to some of the muscle tensing and relaxation skills or some of the breathing skills. When we're at home, you can think about what might be most effective for you in various situations. What might be a go-to for you? If you're feeling high anger and this heat on your face anyway, would that be a time to go to a sink and to splash that cold water on your face? Knowing when you might use the skill can be really helpful. The second piece is what emotions might you be experiencing when you choose to use them? Is it important or helpful to match a skill to the emotion? All of these are meant to be used in rapid fire. There can be some, like when we just talked about anger and using the cold water technique, that might be extra helpful. There might be some where we feel like we're raging, and so getting out some of that energy in terms of rapid exercise or intense exercise can be helpful. And so thinking about how you might match that, maybe when we're ruminating or feeling stuck in a thought spiral, starting to slow down the breathing is something that might be helpful. Each one of us is different, and I'll be curious to hear what you think about that. The third piece on what skills are the easiest for you. What do you feel like you're already doing or is in your wheelhouse? I think that's always an important thing to know, to reflect on the things that are working now and ones that you just like more. And then how can we plan ahead? Is it easier to know that you have this like ice bag or one of those large packable ice plastic thingies, highly technical term, set aside? Do you need to know that you have an app on your phone that helps with the box breathing or a jump rope somewhere that's stashed away? I guess I will say on number 4 that some of these pieces can be helpful to plan ahead for as you are practicing and you know you want something there. But again, I think the coolest thing about this is that they're meant to be accessible in different environments without actually having to plan ahead very much. Like you will always have a floor and a way to either do the running man on it or somehow, if mobility isn't a concern, to drop down and do jumping jacks or push-ups or what have you. So there might be an element of planning ahead for practice in lower distress situations, but I do want to make the point that these skills are cool because and helpful and are meant to, if we're saying they're rapid fire skills that you can use, you should be able to, each of us should be able to think about how we can use them in not planning ahead, but also how we might be able to practice these skills. Like when would you be most likely to go to a skill, and how can you kind of start to build up that muscle of practice so that it does become second nature? And then what are other strategies you use in each domain? What have you found helpful? Meaning, like, maybe there's another way that you use the cold water technique that we haven't thought about or reviewed, or maybe there's something that you know, a specific intense exercise activity that you go to and you're like, hey, this really works for me. I have a tendency to do a specific dance move in rapid succession or something along those lines. So just something for you to think about, some food for thought, and any other questions that you have, I'm hoping that we can address quite soon when we all come together. Thank you for bearing with me through this. Another, high quality production of some kind. I look forward to chatting with you all about this more. Thank you.